Hi, welcome back to It's Miracle Beauty. My name is Brandy and I do pan challenges and utilizing the makeup that I own. It's not to say or imply that I will never do new makeup reviews or never. My whole goal is to work on utilizing my makeup before it expires, and part of my pan challenges expiration is a very big concentration. But overall, the goal of my channel and the goal of my use of my makeup is use, not completion. Not every product in my pan challenges do I feel the need to complete. I'm trying to get my money's worth or utilize because it's been hiding in a corner, things like that. So I'm actually working on 3 pan challenges this year. This video is the first video and it will incorporate 2. It's actually the first and third if I put them in my order that I look at them. But the second is the biggest one, so I'm going to do that in its own video right after this. And it'll be a very similar intro, so you can feel free to skip past the intro on these if you know what's happening. So the 2 I'm going to do today is the Project 10 in 2023. So the 10 and 23 is a rolling, they're all rolling, but the 10 and 23 are more consistency. So this is either to use to, like, I don't think there's anything in here that I'm not actively trying to use. Now there's some I'm a realist and I don't think I'll ever use, like the blush, but still my point is completion in that particular pan challenge. So this is the only pan challenge of the 3 that nothing is rolling out and rolling in. So these are the exact same products as last month. So I'm going to talk about use, like how many times I used it, what my goals were, and then I'm going to talk about goals in the future, what I want to do with these products. So I have my notebook where I kept track. Now just a clarification, I do not keep track of these in a way that every single use is written down. I keep track to make sure I met my goal, because if I do not put a goal on this, then I will not use products that I don't love. I'll concentrate on the ones that I love in it, and then nothing else will get touched. So this is making me and forcing me to utilize all of them to meet my goals. The other thing that I would say is that, again, not all of these, the goal is completion. So once I hit a certain number of uses, I likely will stop using them. However, I'm recording it. Some of these you'll hear me say I use at least this much. That's because I know on the top of my head I used it more than the goal. I may not know how many, but I stop recording after the goal because the goal's met. So first thing I have is the Good Molecules. This is the, if I can pick it up, geez, 4 tries. Silicone-free priming moisturizer. It does look like this. And it does have that at the mark. If you look, it's a little above it. It's the whites, or the base of the air pump is actually right in the middle of the black line, and then it goes a little bit above is where it's located. So my goal is not to necessarily finish this. Now, if in the next month or 2 I do finish it, I would not be mad at it. It's a very affordable product, and if I used it all, it's one of the oldest in my collection, if not the oldest. There's another one in the other pan challenge that actually is a similar age, and I'm not sure which one was first technically. So this one, my goal is if I use it, cool. If not, no big deal. I just want to utilize it, get use out of it. Next is the NARS Tinted Moisturizer. This is in the shade Finland, light 1. This is a little bit dark. This is like a tan summer shade, so it's a little bit hard for me to use. I do mix it with other foundations to utilize it, so it's not going very fast. I mean, granted, it's only been 1 month, but it's definitely like when I've panned foundations in the past, if I use them repeatedly, I definitely notice a difference. So this is one that I'm open to using. I probably will keep it in my pan challenge till it's gone. It is definitely one of my favorites. I actually own this in a lighter color that I'm not using at the moment because I'm trying to concentrate on this one. But this isn't like so dark that I look orange or I look the wrong color, but you definitely see a neck variation with this one. So that's why I want to use it up. So that one, the Good Molecules, the goal was 5 uses and I used it 5 times. NARS Tinted Moisturizer, the goal was 7 times and I used it 7 times. I don't know if I used it more than 7. Just off the top of my head, I'm assuming so because I was trying to utilize it, but I also didn't use that so much, so maybe I didn't. I'm honestly not sure. Next is the Fenty Color Corrector. This is called the Bright Fix Eye Brightness, and this is in the shade Rose Quartz. This is the pink one that's made for really fair skin. It's actually below that line now. If you look, it's well below. It's almost at like about a quarter. I'm open to using this entirely. I have a backup of it. I really enjoy this, but this is something that there's so many brands that make these, and I do have a couple. That it's not the end of the world if I use this all and it was gone. Like there's some products that I hesitate to use because it's, you know, discontinued, or there's talk of it being discontinued, which I'm not saying that's a valid fear. All I'm saying is this is one that is not applicable to. So next, oh, I'm sorry, that one was 10 was the goal and I used it 10 times. So I'm going to try to stay on these use counts. It's the 3rd time I filmed this video. If you saw my post on my community, this has been a drama scene with my camera, so I'm just trying to get things squared away. Next is the ColourPop Peach Blush. This is Fresh and Peachy. This is a discontinued collection, which is pretty normal for ColourPop. They do about 1 spin of something and it's gone. This is one that there is use there, but it's not a ton. It's a little bit rougher on the texture. I don't think I will probably hit pan on this. I don't think I use peach blushes enough to hit pan on it, but as long as I get some use out of it, I'm happy with it. So my goal for that one was 5 times, and I used it 5 times. Next is the Essence Brow Gel. I'm actually going to do 2 of these together, the Essence Brow Gel and the Balm Eyebrow Pencil. This is Ferocious in Blonde, I believe. Yep, Blonde, and this is in Blondie Brows. So these both are my oldest, or one of the oldest. I have 3 pencils and 3 brow gels in these challenges on purpose because these are my oldest 6 items in my brows. Been hauling butt through my brow products the last 2 years, and so these are the last 6 of the older, bought previously, either pre-COVID or early COVID. Neither one of them are showing any sign of being off, expired, no smell change, no use change. So I am going to try to finish these. I usually go through brow pencils a lot faster than I do brow gels, but I'm going to try to go through all of these, and I'm alternating between those 3 currently. 3 pencils and 3 eyebrow gels. So the gel was to use 7 times, and I used it at least 7 times. And the Balm Eyebrow Pencil was 5 times, and I used it at least 5 times. I do not keep track after the minimum, so that's why I say at least. So next is a solo shadow. This is by Ace Beauté, and this is in the shade Cotton Candy. This was part of a duo that was released with BoxyCharm. So this one is an interesting formula. So I actually wore this the other day over a really pale purple from the ABH Carly Bible palette, and this actually made the shadow oxidize. So if you use this really light, it creates just a shimmer over. If you use it really, like, pack it on, it can be your shimmer shade, and it can be very beautiful, but it is very, it's almost like, it's not a pink, but it's not an orange. It's that in-between color, and I don't know what on the color wheel that would be, but it's in between. And it can be kind of much when you use it all by itself, but on top of another shade, it's really beautiful. And on top of browns and beiges, it's very beautiful. But what I was saying is this is a liquidy moisture type product, and I think that's why it's oxidizing, but I'm still going to try to get my use out of it. I actually enjoy it, and the shade that it created when it oxidized was stunning, so I didn't have any issue with it. Now if I can just get the lid on, holy cow, I'm challenged today. That one with the use was 5 times, and I used it 5 times. Next is the oldest eyeshadow in my entire collection, and this is the Urban Decay Single Midnight Cowboy. These were really big. This was one of my first high-end eyeshadow purchases. I bought, I think, the Naked palette the same day or around the same time. I bought this, and I still use this for inner corner and brow bone. I have strayed away from this for quite some time, and since I've been using it in the month of January, I have loved it. So Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy, my goal was 7 times, and I used it 7 times. So Kosas foundation, I actually bought that this year. It is my 2nd newest foundation in my collection. And because this brand's liquid products are notorious for going bad fast, I actually got some of their cream blushes sets and highlighter sets in BoxyCharm previously, and they didn't even last 6 months. I've heard this is a little bit longer, I've heard about a year. The expiration date listed is 12/31. Or 12/23, I'm sorry, not 12/31, actually 12/23 is all it says. So my goal is just to get as much use out of this as I can. This much like the NARS, I don't see myself rolling out, but we'll see what my taste, my changes, whatever. I do enjoy this foundation. Other than sometimes if I use the wrong powders with it, I can get a little bit of enhancement of my pores right here. Other than that, I don't typically have a problem with it, and it's pretty user-friendly. Like, this is something you could do half asleep in the morning. And the goal was 10 times, and I used it exactly 10 times. I know for a fact I did not go over on that one because I almost didn't get the 10th time in. So next is Makeup Forever foundation. This is the stick foundation. This is in the old shading, so this is R230. I'm not going to roll it up, and I'll leave it all the way down. This starts flush with the container, and if you look, it's just barely underneath, which seems weird to me because I actually have used this a decent amount, but I think what it is I never use it by itself. Like, I never do my whole face. This is something when I use a tinted moisturizer, so it's not giving me enough and my redness is peeking through, I'll kind of use this to fill in. So my goal for this one was 8 times. I used it exactly 8 times, and this is one I'd be comfortable leaving in until it's gone. I enjoy this foundation, and it's not one that I'm abhorrent or against using. It's not like it's one of my hate. I try not to put things I hate in my pan challenges because that makes me not successful at all, but this is one I enjoy. So these were the same 10. That's where we are on use. Let me put these back together and get them out of the way, and then we'll go on to the next one because the next one actually has new things coming in and things going out. Be right back. Okay, this challenge was originally like called My Full Face because, in case you didn't see that video, I had created this with the idea of having a full face where, you know, primer, foundation, concealer all the way down, and I could pan that full face. So when I wanted to, I could just grab that and put a full face on that, be end of it, things I'm panning. However, the full face I created it in late December, like around Christmas or a little bit earlier, and that actually, I went to use some of the products and they actually were expired, or they just didn't work the same, or they were horrible or whatever. So I didn't want to put those products in, and as I rolled things in, I am working on rolling in my oldest, and it just didn't work out. It's a full face anymore. So I don't know. I keep saying I'm going to change the name, but I don't know what to change it to. So that's where we're at. So the first item is a sample of foundation, and this only has maybe 1 or 2 uses left in it. My goal is to use it 5 times. I don't think I had to use this prior to that. I'm not sure. I probably will get a couple more uses out of it, and I am taking it out of the challenge because it is a sample and I don't want to not use something full if I am busy using a sample. But samples can give you quick, good pan or motivation because you finish something quicker. So that is rolling out, and my NARS blush, Orgasm Cream Blush, what is this called, by the way? Air Matte Blush is coming in. This is not one of my favorites. I actually like the e.l.f. ones better. This is like a cream to powder product. It's hard to get out of the jar. I like bigger brushes, and it's hard to get out of here, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Once it's on, it looks okay, but I don't even know why I bought it, to be quite honest, because I bought it in the Orgasm color, and that's probably my least favorite color of all the NARS blushes. So that was kind of foolish on my part, but that is rolling in. Next, oh, sorry, that was used 5 times, goal was 5 times. Can't remember if I said that. Next is another primer. This is one that was purchased. It is a travel size. This is where it was before the month. It's much past that now, but I haven't updated my marketing as I do those the first of the month every month. So it's a little bit lower than that. This one probably has 5 to 10 more uses, I would assume, depending on if I mix it with another one or if I use it all on its own. I do like to mix primers, and I don't want to put too much on, so I typically use less of something if I'm mixing. But this one I am going to roll out because it's actually the wrong formulation. I thought, it says on here step 1 skin equalizer. That is for normal skin, so not making you too moisturized, not making you too mattified. I thought when it said base hydrating primer that it was the hydrating primer. They actually replied on their website, Makeup Forever did, and let me know that this is not the dry skin formula. This is the normal skin. So just trying to use it up to get my money's worth, but it's definitely not made for my skin. So that is going to roll out, and rolling in is going to be my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. This is not a favorite of mine. First of all, it's a little bit deep for my skin. It's not something that looks perfect on my skin, but also even once I blend it in, I still have to use something else because it kind of fades into the background is the only way I can put it. Is like, I could see this as a contour in the sense that it's like framing your face and setting things up, but the problem is if you use only that, you either need a decent blush or you need a good bronzer to mix with it, and it's not as emollient even as like the Oma Beauty. I love that one. It's very emollient and works well. So this is one that I'm just going to try to use up. As you can see, it's got a decent amount out of it, and I'm just going to try to use it up and get it out of here because it was an expensive product. So that Makeup Forever primer was 7 times the goal, and I used it 7 times. Next is the Fenty eyeshadow primer or eyelid primer. This one does not have a way to see, like you can't hold it up to the light and see what it is because it has either paint or paper or something on the inside that's blocking all the product. So you cannot tell, but this has definitely still got a ton in it. It's still very like creamy. You can see it on there, and it definitely has a bit to go. This is the least favorite eyeshadow primer I've ever used in my entire life. So I don't know how long I will last with this, but hey, we're going to keep plugging for now, and I'm going to keep using it, see how far I can get. My goal for that was 12 times. I use that exactly 12 times. I know for a fact because I don't like using it. Next is, and forgive the noise while I dig it out, the Carly Bible palette. This has probably got the most exciting use I've had in this challenge. My goal for this palette was to use this 10 times. I used it exactly 10 times. Buy it as a look. I used shades out of here with other looks different times that I did not track. So I did hit pan on that shade, and this shade over here, I am very close to hitting pan on. This is probably my favorite shade of any shadow ever, but that one that I hit pan in, I use this the exact same way I always have, and I was surprised when I hit pan, and then it expanded when I used it. So I'm very proud of that. I am still trying to pan this. This is not my Pan That palette. It probably should have been because I picked Soldier Baby, and one thing January has told me, I freaking hate that palette. I'm going to see how far I can go with it though, because I'm not a quitter. So I'm going to see what I can do. But this one, the goal was 10. We used it 10. Me and my other personality, I guess. I'm not sure what that was about. But 10 uses. I'm definitely keeping this in, and we're going to keep working on that palette. Next is the 24/7 liner in Perversion. This is much shorter than it was. This is one that is very creamy and you do have to sharpen it frequently. I only use this for tight lining my upper eyelid. So this will be gone, I would say, in the next couple months. It's not one hard to do, but it is one you have to sharpen a lot if you're using on your upper line, because that you don't want anything scraping, and this is so creamy it goes fast. So that one is staying in. My goal for that one was 18 times, and I used it almost every single day of the month. So I used it well over 18 times. Next, this one is broken, so I cannot show you it. I'm going to show you it broken and then I'm going to put it back in, but I can't like hold it towards the camera very much. So this is the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur Mauve Sunrise. This used to be one of my all-time favorite blushes, and it's lasted forever. So if you look, it's completely out of the pan. So I'm going to get it back in the pan and then I'll show you it. See, look. Gotta push that back in the pan. I don't want to drop a brand new carpet in this closet, and I don't want to drop it. So this one I had not planned to declutter yet. I had planned to keep it in, but since it's broke, I don't want to take any chances. I'm actually going to throw this away. That will be getting out of here. And rolling in its place is actually going to be the Cover FX blush duo. This one is in Pink Dahlia. If you look at this pretty closely, I do have pretty decent use. Like, it's starting to wipe the lines away on the shimmery side, but the blush has very little. I mean, I can see use when I look at the blush, but it's not enough to say, oh, she used that a ton, and I know I didn't, so it makes sense. So that's rolling in for that item. And my goal for that Bare Minerals blush was 5 times. I used it 5 times. And what's funny is it was still together the last time I used it, which was just a few days before I first time filmed this video. Again, I filmed this more than once. And then when I went to show it, I almost dropped it. And I was like, again, brand new carpet. It made me panic. So the next item is the e.l.f. Putty Primer. My goal was to use this 10 times. I used this over 10 times. I do enjoy this one, and there is a ton of use in this, and I'm probably just going to pan this all the way. It is only $6. It's still available, and I can move on to something else once this is gone. Next is the Too Faced Pressed Powder. This is one that I was testing kind of as a chopping block. So my goal was 5 times, and I did use it 5 times in the shade Snow, and it does look like this. It's just starting to get the Born This Way like imprint gone, wiped away. So this is one that I'm not throwing away, but I'm definitely taking out because I did not enjoy it. I used it 5 times and it was a painful 5 times. But I want to try this with a different foundation. I use the exact same foundation process with it every single time. So I want to try it with a more moisturizing, my Shiseido, or even one of my tinted moisturizers, because I don't powder my entire face. I powder where I need it. So I want to try this again later at a later date. So that one is rolling out, and rolling in is the Fenty. This is the Diamond Bomb and How Many Carats. And this one I do not use on my face. It's way too glittery, but I love it as an eyeshadow topper. So it's like basically pure glitter. So that is rolling in. So next is the Oma Stick Contour, and my goal for this was 15. I used this way over 15 times. I enjoy this product a lot. This is the number 3 in White Pearl. This does have a highlighter on the end. I don't like the highlighter. It's a little bit too deep for my skin in winter. I can use it if I use it right in summer, but it doesn't work. But this is a perfect shade for that cool tone bronzer where it's not a true contour, but it's definitely not a true bronzer. This is perfect for me. This formula is super emollient. It's super easy to blend. I can be half asleep in the morning and it's so easy to blend. So this is one I enjoy using. Going to keep using it. Again, 15 was the goal. I used it well over 15. Another one that I use more than my goal is the Lumi L'Oreal bronzer. This goal was 7 times. I used it at least 7 times, and this thing looks brand new. Like, there's a little bit disrupted on the surface. That is about it. It's so good. But this one is a shimmery or reflective bronzer, and I really enjoy the way this looks with other more matte bronzers to kind of lighten them up a little bit. It looks really good. So 7 times was my goal. I used it 7 times. Next is the ColourPop Blush Flirt a Lot. This one, my goal was 7 times. I used this 7 times. Don't believe I used it more. This one is just starting to get a little bit rougher on the surface. It's not really got much wear. This was basically new when I started this challenge. So there's going to be a long time before we see real progress on that. So next is the Hourglass Incandescent Strobe. And when I did my introduction to this pan challenge, I actually said I'd finish more than one of these. It is not this one. It is the traditional incandescent that comes in the brown. This is the strobe one. And I do have the strobe triple palette. This is its own. And when I purchased this, I didn't realize I purchased a different one and it didn't click till later. So this is the first one of this. This has, if you know big products, they get little holes in them. This is starting to get those holes. Other than that, there really isn't much wear. My goal for that one was 10 times, and I used it 10 times-ish. I don't know for sure if I went over on that, but I know I at least used it 10. Next is the Fenty Cream Blush. This is the one in Petal Poppin'. This one is starting to exhibit signs that my bronzers that went bad did. So with all of the Fenty Cream products, well, first of all, these are from when they first were released. So anything I say right now is no reflection of Fenty because these are long since expired. But they start getting this like film over the top that it looks hardened and almost kind of crustier, and you have to wipe it away, and then it's absolutely creamy underneath. So that's the first step of them going bad. And then they start to not blend well. This is starting to do that first step. So this is going to go bad soon if it's not, you know, well, technically it's expired now, but I mean, use-wise, it's going to start going bad. So this is one that I'm going to leave in for now, but you may see it roll out soon because I don't know how long it's going to last at this point. So that one, my goal was 8 times. I used it 8 times. Next is the Hourglass. This is the cream highlighter in rose gold. There is a ton of product in this. So this is one I used to hate this product, and if you were like me and you hate this product, this is one that you can, if you're using it with your fingers to put it on, try it with a brush, because I never did. I was never into cream products when this came in BoxyCharm. Now that I am, I use it my brush and my stuff all the time. I used a brush and put it on it, and it looks stunning, and you can even see it after you powder. It's really, truly gorgeous. So I recommend trying that. So that the goal was 8 times, and I used it at least 8 times. Next is the 2 brow products for this particular challenge. And so these are the ColourPop Boss Brow Gel and the Maybelline. These are in blonde and, is it blonde or taupe? I can't remember. Where is the color? Blonde. They're both blonde. So I usually kind of, it's the same for me, blonde or taupe. Both of these, like the other ones I mentioned before, are very old and are not going to last much longer. So I'm getting as much use as I can out of them. I don't have any problem finishing this. I'm sure this will last, but I'm not sure about the gel. So the last thing before I have 3 that roll out is the Hourglass. This is the ambient lighting palette, and this is the one that has the original incandescent. I was talking about the one in the middle is the one I finished multiple of previously. So if you look, the 2 outer ones aren't really going any, they're not getting any flatter, but that white one definitely is, and they all have holes in it. So this is starting to show signs of wear. Again, it's not worn, but it's starting to show. In this, I had 3 mini mascaras to use. This one, oh, you know what? I didn't tell you my goal on that. So the eyebrow pencil and gel both were 5 times, and 5 times was the goal. That Hourglass palette was 21 times was the goal. I used it pretty much every time I did my makeup. So next is the English Brandy It mascara. This was only used once. My goal was 10. This is expired and dried out. Then the MAC Stacks, my goal was 10 times. I used it 4 times, and it is done. It's so dry. I don't know how I even got 4 out of it, but I do know it flaked all day because it was like really dry mascaras. Even if they're a good mascara, will flake. And then last is the Rare. This one, my goal was 10, and I used it 10, and it seems to still have some life in it. So I'm going to unofficially pan this when I do my makeup, but I'm not worried about it being in the challenge. So for one of those mascaras rolling in is the ColourPop Liner in Curve. It's one of my older liners. The other one rolling in is my Tarte. This is the CC Under Eye Corrector. It looks like this. And I did test this the other day. It is still creamy and still seems to be good. I bought that at the same time I bought my Charlotte Tilbury, which I will show you. I've been concentrating on this one for the last probably year, I would guess. Everything's worn off of it, but we're at the skim pickings on this one. There is almost nothing left. It's getting off the edges. So I'm going to concentrate on both of these until this one's gone, and then I will only work on this one. And I do use that in conjunction with the Fenty because the Fenty kind of almost whites the area out, and then that gives it a little bit of moisture back, and that's something that I enjoy. And then the last one is the Balm Old Mary Luminizer. So I'm bringing this old lady back in because she is not as old as when it first came out, but it is old, and it's a pretty highlighter that I can use with confidence that I like it, and it's going to be easy to pan. So that is the update on the first 2 pan challenges. I'm going to film the 3rd one on its own. I'm going to be putting these videos up. You're going to see this makeup, this face a few times because now I'm making up videos for the ones I didn't film. So if you like this, would you please like, share, and subscribe? And if you have any questions, post them down below or PM me on Instagram. The link is below. Talk to you guys soon, guys. Enjoy.